We now join our regularly scheduled program already in progress.
Of Ballyporeen and a world leader dining at Buckingham Palace with the Queen. And he came home with a plane full of film footage for campaign commercials. Administration officials got just what they wanted out of this trip, a chance for Ronald Reagan to look presidential while the Democrats squabbled. And they plan to stick with that strategy, keeping him above the fray until the campaign begins in earnest in late August. Deborah Potter, CBS News, the White House.
Canadian Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau is being described as the odd man out at the London conference. He reportedly provoked a heated exchange with Mr. Reagan when he blamed Washington for the impasse with the Soviet Union in arms talks. A senior U.S. official quoted President Reagan as telling Trudeau, "We have offered, I have said everything. What the hell more can I do to get them back to the table?" Iran and Iraq said today they have agreed to stop attacking each other's residential areas. At the same time, they expressed reservations about the idea. A year ago, a similar agreement was proposed, and within days, both sides were fighting again. Today's announcement came after an unidentified plane fired on a Kuwaiti tanker in the Persian Gulf. It was said to be the closest airstrike to the vital Strait of Hormuz since the Iran-Iraq war began.
The great cars of Europe priced far out of reach. Until now. Renault presents the road to affordability. Renault Alliance, acclaimed for its smooth, comfortable ride, with sedan comfort for 5 and their luggage, fuel efficient, fuel injected, European technology that's affordable. $59.59. Renault Alliance, built in America. 10.9% financing now available. Renault.
Watch. Selling today, it's tough. Just one sales call can cost $200. So before your people go out, make sure it's a hot lead. AT&T can help. Our people can show your people how to use AT&T Watts and AT&T 800 service. So chances are, when they make a call, they'll make a sale.
Been expecting it.
The people of AT&T Communications. We're thinking about your business in ways you never thought of.
The East continues to bake today from a spring heat wave that is sending the mercury to record highs from Virginia to New England. Forecasters say a cooling storm front could arrive by Tuesday. And as Chris Kelly reports, for those trying to cope, it would be more than welcome relief.
It is day 4 of the miserable heat and humidity, and New Yorkers are suffering. People all over the eastern half of the nation are suffering because the hot air from the Gulf states is being pushed up into Maine. 90-degree temperatures are everywhere, and the heat is adversely affecting the health of some people.
We've had a significant rise in our ambulance calls, and we've had an increase in the number of patients at both St. Luke's and Roosevelt Hospital emergency departments. We've seen direct related illnesses with respect to the heat prostration, and heat exhaustion. We've seen a significant increase in accidents and violent type activity.
During the past 4 days, the city's emergency medical service has handled a record number of calls. Thanks to heavy spring rains, there's no shortage of water, but city officials report serious water pressure problems from the many open hydrants. In Boston, the heat has caused a decrease in air quality, and in some places, it's become unhealthful.
Outside the city, we are experiencing increasing levels of air pollution, so that by late this afternoon, especially as traffic increases from the Cape, experiencing high levels of air pollution on the South Shore and on the North Shore more likely.
Health officials say the elderly suffer the most in this heat, and in Hartford, Connecticut, for example, there's been a 20% increase in respiratory ailments.
These few days are very depressing and oppressing.
Oh, it's terrible at night sleeping. Can't sleep at night. I just get up and walk around a little, go back and sit in the fan.
Hundreds of thousands flocked to Atlantic beaches this weekend, where the ocean waters were at least 30 degrees cooler. In 2 days, a cooler spell is forecast, a break in a heat wave that will rival anything still ahead this summer. Chris Kelly, CBS News, New York.
It was a vicious storm at sea that turned a tall ship's race from Bermuda to Halifax, Nova Scotia, into a race for the sailors' lives. Today, the crews who made it safely to port paid tribute to the commanders of the Marques, who were lost at sea last Sunday when the vessel capsized off Bermuda. Steve Young reports.
The
The seas which dragged the Marques to her grave sickened just about everyone aboard the British bark and cadets on the other tall ships racing from Bermuda. At one point, trainees on the Coast Guard Academy ship the Eagle thought she too would be lost.
Have you ever been on a roller coaster? On the first hill? That's what it looked like, up on the deck.
This morning she entered the harbor, many of her 123 cadets still trying to comprehend the disaster.
We had talked to some of the people and, socialized with them. And I don't know which ones are alive or what, whether it's one I met or he's dead.
I think when we first heard about it, it struck us pretty hard, Made me wonder, how safe are we,
About a year ago, Halifax planned a joyous celebration to greet the tall ships and their trainees. It was changed into a memorial service for the 18 souls lost at sea.
Trainees from more than 20 tall ships from 9 countries were there.
I must go down to the seas again, for the call of the running tide is a wild call, and a clear call that may not be denied.
Almost nothing was left of the Marques. Some empty lifeboats, a piece of plank from her deck.
Take care.
At an earlier tribute in Bermuda, survivors thanked the captain of the Polish schooner which saved their lives. The captain and his crew placed flowers for the ship and for her American skipper's 15-month-old son, who also perished. With so few tall ships remaining in the world, the death of one of the oldest, with young people aboard her, seemed especially sad. Still, the cadets here and the Marques survivors in Bermuda all said, risk or not, they must go down to the sea.
And all I ask is a merry yarn from a laughing fellow rover, and a quiet sleep, and a sweet dream when the long trip's over.
Steve Young, CBS News, Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Taxi! Taxi!
You speak English?
Where do you go?
Oh, no, we don't know where we're going.
We don't know what to do.
You see, we've lost our traveler's checks.
You American?
Yes.
The American Express?
Yes.
American Express. Is okay. I take you there.
American Express has travel service offices worldwide to help with refunds and more. Don't leave home without them.
Is there a coffee made with those incredible tasting beans you find in gourmet coffee stores?
Oh, yes. The costliest, most flavorful coffee beans found in gourmet coffee stores, Arabica beans, are the very same beans used to make Taster's Choice a superior coffee. Only Taster's Choice uses this gourmet blend, Arabica Supreme.
Ah.
The more you know about coffee, the more you'll know why the choice for taste is Taster's Choice.
It splits the dark with a powerful beam. Spotlighter rechargeable light from Black & Decker. A light built so strong it can survive a drop of 6 feet. Stored in its own recharging base, Spotlighter's ready on a moment's notice to give you light. Light for your safety and peace of mind. Black & Decker Spotlighter. It's one utility light that does more than just shine. Also, there's Spotlighter SL2, the rechargeable personal security light from Black & Decker.
3 years after the attempt on the life of Pope John Paul II, there are some new developments. The New York Times says today that the Italian prosecutor who is investigating the case will seek the indictments of 3 Bulgarians and 6 Turks, including Mehmet Ali Agca, who shot the Pope. According to the report, Agca was hired by the Bulgarian Secret Service. The Times says the conspirators hoped the Pope's death would weaken the solidarity movement in Poland. An important solidarity leader who had been in hiding since December 1981 has been arrested in Poland. Communist authorities announced that Bogdan Lis was taken into custody in Gdansk. No further details were given. Lis is a close friend and former aide of solidarity leader Lech Wałęsa. For the foreign ministers of the Contadora Group, these are busy days, spent in the pursuit of peace. Today, they're in El Salvador, after stops in other Central American countries yesterday. Sandy Gilmore has the story.
It's been an extraordinary weekend for the Contadora Group. The foreign ministers of Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, and Mexico blitzed Central America, pressing leaders to agree to a rough draft of a peace treaty designed to end bloodshed, insurrection, and intervention. It is idealistic. The plan calls basically for Central American countries to reduce military arms, to remove foreign forces, namely Cubans and Americans, to stop operating in other countries in support of guerrillas, and to agree to allow democracy. After stops in Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Honduras, and Guatemala yesterday, the Contadora ministers met with the newly inaugurated Salvadoran president, Jose Napoleon Duarte, today.
We have to keep this process going as a true alternative for peace in Central America.
The ministers hope to get Cuban and American leaders involved in the talks. So far, there's no indication whether anybody's agreed to anything, except that everybody says they want peace.
Peace. This is what we all want.
But nobody acts like it. The outsized Nicaraguan army is getting bigger and has canceled all leaves. The Sandinistas funnel Soviet and Cuban arms and ammunition to guerrillas in El Salvador. They fight soldiers supplied, trained, and advised by the U.S. Acres and acres of Honduran land have become training grounds for joint maneuvers. Honduran, Salvadoran, and American troops practice under unified commands. And thousands of U.S.-supported anti-Sandinista guerrillas regularly stage attacks in Nicaragua, from bases in Honduras and Costa Rica. The Contadora ministers are trying to end the violence with words, with negotiations. But the Contadora Peace Initiative began 17 months ago. And despite this weekend's intense diplomacy, there is no peace treaty in sight. Sandy Gilmore, CBS News, San Salvador.
If all goes according to schedule, the House will take up this week the emotional issue of illegal immigration. On tap is a bill that favors some illegal aliens and puts a burden on employers. More on the story from Lark McCarthy.
It's estimated that 500,000 people a year enter the U.S. illegally and stay. That's as many as settle here legally. And so the push to cut back the unauthorized influx.
I just wonder how much longer this country can go with wide open borders with the 6 to 12 million people in this country now who are not here legally. It undermines the labor standards in this country. It undermines the social standards. It undermines economic standards in communities all over the United States.
The Senate has twice passed a bill to control illegal immigration, but consideration of the House version has been repeatedly postponed by Speaker Thomas O'Neill. But this week, the House is set to debate the Simpson-Mazzoli bill. Its sponsors say the heart of their proposal is reducing the lure of jobs by imposing penalties on employers who knowingly hire unauthorized immigrants. Employers would be required to inspect documents from all applicants, American and foreign alike.
That turns every employer, every private employer in America into an immigration agent, so that when somebody walks in and looks different from anybody else, then the employer is going to discriminate against that person. They probably won't even take the application.
If I were an employer and you or I walked in to get a job, I would be certain I would ask everyone for that card, because by asking for that card, I then have established my legal defense.
There's also concern that the document inspection will lead to the creation of a national ID card. That's not in the bill, but there is provision for studying whether a worker ID is needed.
We'll use existing documents for 3 years. At the end of that time, if that's not working, then we could go to a revised Social Security card or some other method, but nothing in the way of a national ID card.
Under the bill, illegal immigrants who are already here and who've put roots down could have their presence legalized. The bill has become a magnet for immigration reform ideas. 69 amendments. Some would radically change it. One, for instance, would do away with penalties on employers altogether. Another would toughen them. The House Rules Committee cleared the way Friday for floor debate this week. But in this election year, some lawmakers, unwilling to offend ethnic voters and business interests, might rather duck the issue. They could do that by blocking the rule that put the measure on the legislative calendar.
I understand there is a subterranean effort to try to kill the rule as a way to not deal with this bill. I think that is a very, very bad idea.
One of the ways that we might be able to defeat Simpson-Mazzoli will be to defeat the rule. And it's a perfectly logical, legal, ethical way to do it.
If history is a guide, the House will accept the rule. The ensuing debate will be emotional and wide-ranging. But when the week's over, most observers predict the bill will have been amended to death. Lark McCarthy, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Some positive economic predictions today from Martin Feldstein, who's retiring as the Reagan administration's chief economist. Feldstein told a commencement audience at the University of Rochester that the nation's economy probably will grow faster than the administration's estimate this year. Inflation will remain under control, and the outlook is good for next year, too. But according to a survey of 300 business leaders out today, nearly half of them believe inflation will rise this year, and that high federal deficits will stifle the economic recovery.
Many financial choices promise future growth, but only one is full-grown from the start. Life insurance.
That's why I bought life insurance first, as the foundation of my financial security. With my first payment, I have an instant estate that guarantees the full amount of the policy for my family. No other financial choice provides this protection. Should anything happen to me.
America's life and health insurance companies. A growing commitment to America's life and health.
Thanks to the K, you can't pinch an inch. Thanks to the K, you can't pinch an inch on me.
With the help of the 220-calorie Kellogg's Special K breakfast and those big, crispy, low-sugar, high-protein flakes, I can't think of a tastier or better way to start my day.
Thanks to the K, you can't pinch an inch on me.
Doctors at New York's Columbia Presbyterian Hospital say 4-year-old James Lovett of Denver has an excellent chance of surviving Saturday's heart transplant. James, who was born with a heart defect, is believed to be the world's youngest transplant patient. Surgeons used a special magnifying glass during the operation because the boy's heart was so small. TWA and World Airways will soon join United in matching a $119 one-way coast-to-coast airfare offered by People Airlines, People Express. Once again, a small, no-frills carrier is forcing the big guys to follow suit. Ray Brady has more.
It's an airliner heading for a dogfight. Coast-to-coast flights can cost $484. But People Express will soon slash its fare to $119, a cut that delights passengers.
Why do you fly People Express?
Because it's cheap. But it's also a cut, say, other low-cost carriers that's setting off a fare war among airlines.
There's going to be a little brouhaha in the transcontinental markets between People and some other carriers.
But how can People Express, Southwest, and the other low-fare carriers sell tickets so cheaply and still stay in business? After all, they've got to meet the same safety standards and requirements as all the other airlines. Gigi Hanover is one answer. When she's not handling that computer, she's handling travelers' bags. People employees all own stock in the company, so they work for low salaries and do a lot of jobs. That keeps costs and fares down.
At People Express, each of us feels like we own the airline, because we do.
Planes are second-hand. They cost less to buy. Service aboard them is good, but not fancy.
I don't need all those extra frills.
As long as that pilot knows what he's doing, we got it made, right?
But now the big airlines are striking back, lowering costs and cutting some fares.
It's been a long time since I've flown a nicer little number to the West Coast than this.
We are very conscious of the effort that's going on among the major carriers to reduce their costs, and we are reducing theirs just as steadfastly as they are. So that as their costs get lower, ours will get lower too.
So the planes are taking off to a new fare war in the skies. Ray Brady, CBS News, Newark, New Jersey.
In Rome, where the glories of the past exist side by side with the amenities of the present, the past is losing its hold. Bert Quint tells us why.
Through the ages, ancient emperors and legionnaires have gazed confidently down on Rome. They have withstood the invasions of barbarian tribes, the floods, the fires, the wars of centuries. Today, they are being overwhelmed in a different kind of onslaught. Acid rain caused by automobile and heating fumes is turning them to dust. The forums of Rome have suffered more damage in the last generation than they had in the previous 2,000 years.
Figures that were whole
25 years ago have lost their arms, their legs. It looks as if leprosy has touched the surface.
After 5 years of research with the monuments under wraps, work has now begun to clean them. Nobody knows how to stop the decay, but the experts say they are on the trail, not of a space-age remedy for pollution, but of a medieval, perhaps ancient process. A mystery plaster, applied and reapplied to the monuments. It's like a thick syrup made of calcium and something else. Scientists think the lost formula may contain such commonplace ingredients as milk or egg white.
On these monuments, where that coat remains, the marble is sound, or worked.
Some maintain, however, that even if this plaster could be duplicated, it would be no match for today's pollution. But that right now seems the only hope. Unless some formula, ancient or modern, can be found to combat acid rain, the monuments, like the Caesars themselves, will become just a memory of the grandeur that was Rome. Bert Quint, CBS News, Rome.
Into each life, a little laundry must fall, and fall, and fall. Different fabrics, dirt, and soils. Isn't it nice that Whirlpool washers and dryers are tough on dirt, yet gentle on clothes, with so many different settings, cycles, speeds, temperature levels, and state-of-the-art technology? And a Whirlpool washer and dryer for every home, every family. And isn't it nice that Whirlpool promises to stand behind you and make your world a little easier?
Get a feel for cotton. The way it always makes you look good. The way it's so soft to touch. The way it keeps you feeling comfortable and natural. Once you get a feel for cotton, you won't feel like anything else. Look for the cotton seal on these Aero Cotton Plus shirts. They're a natural blend for a lot more cotton and easy care.
Throw me a strike in here. I come back to the ballpark once in a while for old time's sake. I even get a chance to... These fans love me. I even paint the old pitching machine with Rust Magic with RP2. Gotta tell you, Rust Magic keeps this pitcher in great shape.
Yeah, but the catcher's rusty.
They never forget you. And Rust Magic dries a lot faster than the leading national brand. And that's a winner when you're rained out. Rust Magic from Krylon. Tough, fast-drying rust protection. Rust Magic and Krylon products for your car.
Graduates gathered again this weekend to receive their diplomas and think, if only for a few moments, about the years of classes and teachers that contributed to their education. But in Tennessee, there's a 35-year-old graduate who will remember a backwoods shanty, where while the others were attending school, he was reading books. Liz Trotta has the story of Bethel College's most unusual graduate.
3 years ago, Robert Allen asked to be admitted to Bethel College. He had never been to school in his life. Today, he is graduating first in his class, a country boy with a scholar's mind who, on his own, has mastered the classics, history, and philosophy. He read Aristotle, Plato.
All of Sophocles, all of Aeschylus. I think I read all of Aristophanes. I never quite slogged through all of Euripides, but maybe someday.
You won't find Rosser, Tennessee on most maps. It used to be a real town when the post office was here, but now it's just a dozen or so houses in the backwoods of Tennessee. This is Robert Allen's house, and it is here, amidst the persimmon trees and honeysuckle vines, that he began his search into the classics. Abandoned by his mother and father, Robert was raised by a succession of elderly relatives in a house without running water or plumbing. He has never been to a movie, never flown in an airplane. It is as though he grew up in a time warp, a suspended world he filled with the great books and ideas of the past.
I don't know that much about the world we live in. I stopped learning about 1880, something like that.
Robert Allen came late into the modern world, but when he did, it did not go unnoticed.
With Robert in the class, it's like having a walking encyclopedia at hand.
I've had him in a Greek class at 8 o'clock in the morning, and it was something to wake up to.
About the woodland I will go and see the cherry hung with snow.
Dr. William King taught Robert in several courses.
He does know a lot more than certainly all the students and most of the professors around here.
How true, and Dr. King is reminded of that every day.
The thoroughgoing classical artist thumbs his nose at the romantic.
Classical artist does not thumb his nose.
Oh, no, that wouldn't do. What would a classical artist do?
Speak contemptuously in heroic couplets.
In the fall, Robert will attend graduate school at Vanderbilt University, where he has a full scholarship. Most everyone here seems to think it's a good thing he never went to school before he entered college. Just imagine if he had, said one professor, only half jokingly. He would never have had time to do all that reading. Liz Trotta, CBS News, Mackenzie, Tennessee.
For Morton Dean, I'm Bill Kurtis, CBS News, New York. Good night.
In this rapidly changing world, even the brightest and best manager in the company may need more than a loyal staff to run a smooth operation. For when headquarters calls and pressure builds, it becomes harder to keep things rolling without running into mix-ups, losing control of the operation, and falling behind. For rapid improvement, a manager could use a tool for modern times, the IBM personal computer. For smoother scheduling, better planning, and greater productivity. It can help a manager excel and become a big wheel in the company. The IBM personal computer. See it at a store near you.
Brighten your morning. Bill Kurtis and Diane Sawyer bring you the news you need and the special reports you want. Make your morning with the CBS Morning News.
This is CBS.
My husband, Alex Karras, with a testimonial for Lazy Boy chair. He's saying his Lazy Boy recliner knocks him out. He's comfortable knowing a genuine Lazy Boy chair has over 50 years of quality built in. And he says Lazy Boy is the original recliner, with features still unmatched today. Lazy Boy, there's only one. Unless, of course, you count Alex.
That's cute, Susan.
A larger-than-ever selection just in time for Father's Day at Farm & Home Furniture in Glendive.